Hey, this is Greg Holton, Kendall Inventory Service, out on a site out in Sheridan, Indiana, of a home that just caught fire 6 days ago. That's really the child of anybody who lives out in the country that's got a high-end home. This is what happens when your home catches fire, when you're in a fire protection 10 area. There's just no chance. Generally these are covered by volunteer fire departments, and there's absolutely no chance that they're going to be able to put together a satisfactory claim based on what is left. Now, this particular fellow had a large home, and he happened to have classic cars stored inside his garage on the side of his home. Luckily, these cars were protected under a separate auto policy, so there's not going to be any problem making claims on those because he already had a named value policy on these automobiles, so he'll recover fine on those. But as far as all the property that's left inside the home to make a claim for, essentially, if there's no written record previously of what these contents were, then as you can see by the total destruction that this fire caused, there is just no possibility to go through and from the debris, because the debris piles are so deep and the fire was so intense that essentially everything that wasn't iron has been completely destroyed. Here's an example of a vise. Looks like a couple of vices, an anvil, maybe a grinder of some sort. But other than that, as you can see, panning around on the destruction here as we walk through the ash piles and just take a look at what is left, essentially there is nothing left that's identifiable. Everything that's not metal has been destroyed. Even some of the metal pieces have been burned so far beyond recognition that it's going to be really tough for anybody to put together a contents inventory for a claim. So this is going to have to go to some type of a settlement process, most likely, and this is going to be a tough thing for this insured. Now, the insurance company has hired a contents company to come in, outside independent contents company, to come in and put together a contents inventory, which I'm familiar with all the contents inventory companies that are out there. They try to do the best job that they can, but the fact is, if there's nothing left, they can't put together an inventory when there's nothing left to inventory. This is interesting that the fire was so intense. As you can see on this particular section of the video, there's still smoke smoldering from this 6x12 wood beam that used to be part of the house. So this house, 6 days later, the fire was so intense that it's still smoldering, the ashes. So this is as complete destruction as you're ever going to find in a home fire. And so it's worth noting for anybody who lives in this particular type of a setting. This is an idyllic setting, basically. It's out in the country. A lot of people love to live out in the country. It's secluded, very idyllic setting. But that setting can have its costs when you get into this type of destruction. So as you look at this home and you try to figure out what's what, it's really going to just be an impossibility to do it. This used to be a range of some sort, but as you can see, the destruction is so much so that there's no way to tell what type. And that's where all the money is. This is how the insurance company can beat you down because obviously that was some sort of an oven, but we don't know what type of an oven it was, and it was, but we don't know the brand name of the oven either. Looking up in here, all these different rooms essentially are completely devastated. There's nothing left. There's a second story up in this home, but as you can see, the second story, just in looking at it and how it's caving in, it's not going to be safe to even go up there to try to put together anything that might be left. So it's not safe. The structure's completely unsafe. So this presents real problems in putting together a contents inventory. This is what used to be the kitchen. Right there used to be the dishwasher. It's burned so bad beyond recognition that if you didn't know it was a dishwasher, you would know it is. You certainly can't pick up any brand or model number, serial number information off of it at this point. So this is what you get into. This is the reason why you want to have a complete up-to-date contents inventory of your home and keep it up to date from year to year, so that if you find yourself in this situation, you're not going to have to go through what these folks are going to have to go through with their insurance company, trying to arrive at some type of an equitable settlement. This is going to be a real hard job for everybody involved to come up with what might be fair. But this is the situation that these people face. Just kind of walking around again, just so you can appreciate the amount of devastation that we have here. This is the back side of the home. This home obviously got so far out ahead of the firefighters that most likely by the time the firefighters arrived, this house was so fully engulfed, it's most likely that the firefighters would have just stood back and let it burn. Not much they can do about it. It's unfortunate. People don't relate to this and how to protect themselves when they live out in these type of a country situations. But this is reality. And unfortunately, these folks, by the time they contacted me, they started to realize they had a problem, and that problem is it's going to be a real struggle working with the insurance company to try to put together an equitable settlement for them. With that, I'm going to sign off and just again tell folks, if you haven't got your inventory done, you certainly need to consider getting it done, because this could be the end result. Greg Holton signing out.